Next segment is dealing with services requested. What I mean by that is when your client asks for a job, they say, this needs to be real time. We like to have a rough draft at the end of the depot. We're going to have 3 attorneys and we don't have a laptop, so could you guys rent us some laptops? Also, we need a Spanish interpreter in addition to a videographer. All these requests are services, which we eventually need to build a client for all those. And co-reporter needs to know about them. She needs to know that there will be interpreter, videographer. It's going to be a very difficult job for her. She needs to bring 3 laptops from your office. How we can enter these requests quickly. Before, you can use a feature called prefill services to speed up the entry of those services requested. There are some setups you need to do. For example, if you go to Setup and go to an area called Service Items Master and then search, these are all the services that I offer in my co-reporting firm. Attendance, production, video. I got over 100 items down here. Client does not ask for all of these. They don't say airfare or I need black and white copy. But certain things they do. For example, I have an item down here, notebook rental. When you set up a particular service item in the master list, there are a bunch of flags. You notice that I checkmarked show on online orders, RB web. But what that means is even though you don't have RB web, this particular item is being asked by the client when they ask for a reporter. So you check that and that item will show up when I do prefill services. Other items, you will not have that box checked. So that's what will make a subset of this long list, and you will extract certain items to be client request items. So let's go back to calendar, go back to Joe Plummer case. Right-click view into the job. Let's go to parties. That lists all the attorneys that are supposed to show up at depot. Usually you don't know because the only person you know 80% of the time, unless you have a notice sent it to you, is the noticing attorney. So I know Daniel Berg will be there because he's the noticing attorney. Usually the noticing attorney is the one who's asking for all this. Down here at the bottom grid called services requested, don't use the new and add one item at a time. What we like to do is add all at once. So you always use the button called prefill services. When you click on it, it'll pull up those service items you selected or put a mark on that checkbox we were just talking about. So I got 8 items that are frequently asked by the client. They say we need a Spanish interpreter. We need 3 notebooks, which I'm going to enter the units in a minute. And they say real-time rough draft. So these guys are asking quite a bit. While you're doing it, you notice that the bottom grid says prefer services. That is something you enter into each attorney's profile. These are called standing requests. They always want amicus dis. This guy is a summation user. He told me on every single job he wants an amicus dis. So I put it into the attorney's profile as a prefer services, and that's what is coming up. So I'm going to select that too. Save and close. And just like that, I have 5 items that has been requested. These items will appear on the co-reporter's worksheet, confirmation email, flow to the production worksheet, production turning screen, and also the billing screen. So that way, nobody will forget to bill these things. The way I said, the attorney needs 3 laptops. I'm going to go ahead and put it in there. So that's how you can enter service items quickly into the jobs for noticing attorney by using the prefill services. The benefit of this is that these items will flow down to production and billing automatically, in addition to the worksheet notification to the reporters. So reporters will know exactly what to bring, who's going to show up, and all that. Speaking of the parties, let's go back to Stephen Pettit's depot. Remember I said we had a notice, and I forgot to do one thing here. In the repository, there is a notice. If you have a notice, then you know all the attorneys who are supposed to show up there, called attendance or appearances. I forgot to put it in. So if you don't care about reporters or production or billing department, let them do all the work. Why should I do this work? well, then I can just stop right here. But I'm a good calendar person. I love to put in information I have. So you do have parties or attendances for this job. If I look at the notice, I notice that Timothy Rice is the opposing counsel that's supposed to show up. So I'm going to put it in. So I'm going to look up and see if I have a Mr. Rice in here. If not, I can add, but I happen to have it. So I'm going to select Mr. Timothy Rice. If it says who he represents, I can put it in. So he represents Young Lee, and save and close. So this way, I now have 2 attorneys as appearances, and this information will also be printed on the reporter's worksheet, so the reporter knows exactly who she can expect at the depot. That'll help them save and close.